Tes, tes, oh, tes.
Here, and this is main. Main is how the code exists right now. So all these files, source, Python functions, that's how the code exists now. What we do when we create a branch is we're taking this exact code of how it sits now, and we're creating a duplication of the code. So over here, exact same code, we're naming it. So we'll just say new footer, or just say new, but new F for new footer like the footer of the website. New footer has the exact same code as main branch, the exact same. But the reason we're creating this branch is so that when we start making changes to the code file, e.g., we come over here, we go to our source, let's just say we go to app.js, and we change something here, that won't affect the original main branch. When I make a change in new F, new footer, that doesn't change the main branch code. This is a whole separate branch now that's built off the main branch. So what this allows us to do is that when I'm in new F, the branch, and I make a change in the code, I keep going, I keep going, I keep going, I like it. At any point, if I mess up, So I keep going down that path. I'm adding it, I'm adding code, I'm changing files. If at any point I mess up and I completely break the application, or I'm just like, what's going on? What I can do is simply delete this branch if I chose to go this extreme. Delete this branch, and I'm back at main. Main hasn't been touched, main's all good, main's where I left it. That's one of the reasons why we do branches, so that we don't mess with the main branch. And the reason the main branch is so fundamental, this is supposed to be the code that's not broken. It functionally works throughout. Now, yes, obviously, when you're just starting, it's going to be like, okay, well, the code doesn't work anyways because I just started. Well, that's fine. The idea is that the main branch is never really supposed to update unless it's absolutely clear that the new code that it's updating with is good to go. So what does that mean in this context? Is let's assume that I kept going down this little path of new F, new footer. Then what we can do here, and we're assuming the code is actually good, like everything looks good, like it, we do something called merge. And that's where we merge back to main. And then we'll delete new F because it's no longer needed, as all the code changes that were here has now been merged back to main. So now main's updated with all the code there. So we delete new F. So now we have a new version of main. So your next question might be, is Corbin, how do I merge? This is what we call pull request. So we can check out some closed ones here. When you have a new branch, so for example here, we created auth done. This is when we added authentication to this repo.
Hi, I'm Ellen, and I study medicine here at Cardiff University. Today, I'm going to take you on a tour of Cathays Park campus. This is the university's iconic main building on Park Place. Grade 2 listed, it is home to the School of Chemistry, the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and the Medicine Discovery Institute, which is part of the School of Biosciences. This stunning building has a number of undergraduate teaching laboratories, several lecture theatres, and the science library inside. Our students here study alongside world-class researchers, such as the Cardiff Catalysis Institute and the Paleoclimate Systems Facility, which are also housed here. Opposite main building are the beautiful Alexandra Gardens. These memorial gardens are the central point of Cardiff Civic Centre, with the National Museum of Wales, Cardiff City Hall, Cardiff Crown Court, and the Welsh Government headquarters close by. But if you've got a little longer, why not head over to Butte Park? With woodlands, open fields, gardens, and the River Taff, it's Cardiff's largest open green space. On the other side of Alexandra Gardens, King Edward VII's Avenue hosts 3 university buildings, each with their own impressive architectural style. You may also recognise parts of these buildings, as they have served as filming locations for many popular TV programmes, including Doctor Who and His Dark Materials. First up is the Glamorgan Building, a Grade 1 listed former county hall. Behind its classical sculptures, you will find the School of Social Sciences and of Geography and Planning. Inside, there is an impressive circular council chamber, committee rooms, seminar rooms, and lecture theatres. Next door to Glamorgan, you will find the Butte Building. Currently undergoing a multi-million-pound investment programme to upgrade facilities, Butte is another one of our Grade 2 listed buildings. It is home to the Welsh School of Architecture, which is one of the top architecture schools in the UK. Inside, you will find the Architecture Library and various facilities, including the Digital Fabrication Labs. Further along the road, we have the Redwood Building, home to the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, which has been training pharmacists for over 100 years. Inside, you will find 6 state-of-the-art consultation rooms, newly refurbished labs, and world-leading research initiatives such as the Pharma Bees project. Around the corner from the Redwood Building, behind this impressive sculpture by famed artist Dame Barbara Hepworth, you will find the School of Music. Inside, there is a 250-seat concert hall, ensemble rooms, and several electric acoustic studios. Here, we have the Arts and Social Studies Library, which is the largest library at Cardiff University, and is home to the university's archives and special collections. We have several libraries across our 2 campuses, with over 1.1 million books and access to over 1.5 million online books, journals, and resources. The John Percival Building contains the School of History, Archaeology and Religion, the School of English, Communication and Philosophy, and the School of Welsh, as well as seminar rooms and lecture theatres, and conservation subjects. You'll be offered lab facilities which offer you a hands-on practical experience. There's also a really popular ground floor cafe. The next few buildings form Cardiff Business School, our biggest academic school. The Aberconwy Building is the heart of the school with its own dedicated library. It also contains an undergraduate hub, the Opportunities Zone, the Placements Manager, and the Careers and Study Abroad staff. Next door is the Julian Hodge Building, which has one of the biggest lecture theatres, a large computer suite, and a refectory for students to relax in between their lectures. Finally, in the Postgraduate Teaching Centre, there is the largest mock trading floor in Wales, which gives both postgraduate and undergraduate students the opportunity to experience what life is like on the stock exchange. Across from the business school, you will find the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences. It's a purpose-built teaching and research facility with its own eye clinic. This is open to the public and provides real patients for our students to practice on. Further along, we have our Innovation Campus. This includes the Hayden Ellis Building, an internationally renowned research hub, which brings together experts in neuroscience, cancer stem cell research, and Alzheimer's disease for the first time. Next door, Kubrick, the Cardiff University Brain Research Imaging Centre, is one of Europe's flagship facilities for brain imaging research. Heading back to the central part of Cathays Park campus, we have the School of Law and Politics, The school's pro bono unit gives students the opportunity to gain experience and work with members of the community by providing free legal assistance. Students working in one of these projects, the Cardiff University Innocence Project, has helped to overturn 2 convictions at the Court of Appeal. The Tower building is home to the School of Psychology, one of the largest centres for psychology in the UK, highly regarded for the quality of its research. The school's undergraduate degrees are fully accredited by the British Psychological Society. Across the road from the Tower building is the School of Modern Languages, which offers teaching expertise in a wide range of languages and translation studies. The school has close links with top universities across Europe, which provides students the opportunity to study a year. The university's Languages for All programme offers Cardiff students from any course the opportunity to learn a new language or improve an existing one for free alongside their studies. Our global opportunity also provides the opportunity for students to study, work or volunteer abroad as part of their degree. Named after its Nobel Prize winning former director, the Sir Martin Evans Building is the main home of the School of Biosciences. In recent years, it has been upgraded with extensive refurbishment of lab space and investment with state-of-the-art equipment. Medical and dental students also receive some of their initial training here, as the building houses the Wales Centre for Anatomical Education and our dissection rooms, which are the largest in Wales. Our brand new Centre for Student Life is nearing completion just behind the main building. It will host a range of new facilities, including social study, quiet contemplation spaces and a 550-seat auditorium. It will be home to the student support services and will enhance the way that we support students. It will also provide the perfect link between the university and the Students' Union. Cardiff University Student Union is repeatedly ranked as one of the best student unions in the UK. It boasts amazing facilities, including a nightclub and a 1,600 capacity concert venue. It's a great place to study and socialise, and it's run by students for students. It offers loads of services, including Shop, which helps students to find part-time work alongside their studies, and Cardiff Student Lettings, which supports students in finding private accommodations owned by reputable landlords without agency fees. To the right of the Union Building is a fitness and conditioning centre. With facilities spread over 3 floors, the fitness suite offers a wide range of strength, conditioning and resistance-based equipment, as well as recently upgraded cardiovascular machines with TV, radio and free Wi-Fi. Right next to the fitness centre and contains train station, Abacus is the new home for the School of Mathematics and the School of Computer Science and Informatics. Unique features include makerspace and IT workshops and a new simulated trading room for financial mathematics. Situated a short distance away, we have the Trevithick and Queen's buildings, which host 3 academic schools, the School of Engineering, the School of Physics and Astronomy, and until the transition to Abacus is complete, the School of Computer Science and Informatics. The site hosts a range of teaching facilities, sophisticated computer laboratories, including specialist cybersecurity labs, a dedicated library, a student common room and a large cafeteria. The National Software Academy, which is part of the School of Computer Science and Informatics, is located a 15-minute train ride away in nearby Newport. The School of Journalism, Media and Culture is situated in the recently completed Central Square development in the city centre, opposite Cardiff Central train station. The school is right next door to BBC Cymru Wales, which further enhances its already strong links with the media and creative industries. Teaching facilities include TV and radio studios, newsrooms and editing suites. And here we are back at main building. I hope you've enjoyed a look around Cathays Park campus. You can find out more about our campuses and student life in Cardiff on the university's website. Thanks for joining me, and we hope to see you again in the future. Hi, I'm Ellen, and I study medicine here at Cardiff University. Today, I'm going to take you on a tour of Cathays Park campus, which is our main location at the heart of the city centre. This is the university's iconic main building on Park Place. Grade 2 listed, it is home to the School of Chemistry, the School of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and the Medicines Discovery Institute, which is part of the School of Biosciences. This stunning building has a number of undergraduate teaching laboratories, several lecture theatres, and a science library inside. Our students here study alongside world-class researchers, such as the Cardiff Catalysis Institute and the Paleoclimate Systems Facility, which are also housed here. Opposite main building are the beautiful Alexandra Gardens. These memorial gardens are the central point of Cardiff Civic Centre, with the National Museum of Wales, Cardiff City Hall, Cardiff Crown Court, and the Welsh Government headquarters close by. But if you've got a little longer, why not head over to Butte Park? With woodlands, open fields, gardens, and the River Taff, it's Cardiff's largest open green space. On the other side of Alexandra Gardens, King Edward VII's Avenue hosts 3 university buildings, each with their own impressive architectural style. You may also recognise parts of these buildings, as they have served as filming locations for many popular TV programmes, including Doctor Who and His Dark Materials. First up is the Glamorgan Building, a Grade 1 listed former county hall. Behind its classical sculptures, you will find the School of Social Sciences and of Geography and Planning. Inside, there is an impressive circular council chamber, committee rooms, seminar rooms, and lecture theatres. Next door to Glamorgan, you will find the Butte Building. Currently undergoing a multi-million-pound investment programme to upgrade facilities, Butte is another one of our Grade 2 listed buildings. It is home to the Welsh School of Architecture, which is one of the top architecture schools in the UK. Inside, you will find the architecture library and various facilities, including the digital fabrication labs. Further along the road, we have the Redwood Building, home to the School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences, which has been training pharmacists for over 100 years. Inside, you will find 6 state-of-the-art consultation rooms, newly refurbished labs, and world-leading research initiatives such as the Pharma Bees project. Around the corner from the Redwood Building, behind this impressive sculpture by famed artist Dame Barbara Hepworth, you will find the School of Music. Inside, there is a 250-seat concert hall, ensemble rooms, and several electric acoustic studios. Here, we have the Arts and Social Studies Library, which is the largest library at Cardiff University, and is home to the university's archives and special collections. We have several libraries across our 2 campuses, with over 1.1 million books and access to over 1.5 million online books, journals, and resources. The John Percival Building contains the School of History, Archaeology and Religion, the School of English, Communication and Philosophy, and the School of Welsh, as well as seminar rooms and lecture theatres. If you're studying archaeology and conservation subjects, you'll be offered lab facilities which offer you a hands-on school, our biggest academic school. The Aberconwy Building is the heart of the school with its own dedicated library. It also contains an undergraduate hub, the Opportunities Zone, a placements manager, and the Careers and Study Abroad staff. Next door is the Julian Hodge Building, which has one of the biggest lecture theatres, a large computer suite, and a refectory for students to relax in between their lectures. Finally, in the Postgraduate Teaching Centre, there is the largest mock trading floor in Wales, which gives both postgraduate and undergraduate students the opportunity to experience what life is like on the stock exchange. Across from the business school, you will find the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences. It's a purpose-built teaching and research facility with its own eye clinic. This is open to the public and provides real patients for our students to practice on. Further along, we have our Innovation Campus. This includes the Hayden Ellis Building, an internationally renowned research hub which brings together experts in neuroscience, cancer stem cell research and Alzheimer's disease for the first time. Next door, Kubrick, the Cardiff University Brain Research Imaging Centre, is one of Europe's flagship facilities for brain imaging research. Heading back to the central part of Cathays Park campus, we have the School of Law and Politics. The school's pro bono unit gives students the opportunity to gain experience and work with members of the community by providing free legal assistance. Students working in one of these projects, the Cardiff University Innocence Project, has helped to overturn 2 convictions at the Court of Appeal. The Tower Building is home to the School of Psychology, one of the largest centres for psychology in the UK, highly regarded for the quality of its research. The school's undergraduate degrees are fully accredited by the British Psychological Society. Across the road from the Tower Building is the School of Modern Languages, which offers teaching expertise in a wide range of languages and translation studies. The school has close links with top universities across Europe and further afield, which provides students the opportunity to study a year abroad. The university's Languages for All programme offers Cardiff students from any course the opportunity to learn a new language or improve an existing one for free alongside their studies. Our Global Opportunities programme also provides the opportunity for students to study, work or volunteer abroad as part of their degree. Named after its Nobel Prize winning former director, the Sir Martin Evans Building is the main home of the School of Biosciences. In recent years, it has been upgraded with extensive refurbishment of lab space and investment with state-of-the-art equipment. Medical and dental students also receive some of their initial training here, as the building houses the Wales Centre for Anatomical Education and our dissection rooms, which are the largest in Wales. Our brand new Centre for Student Life is nearing completion just behind the main building. It will host a range of new facilities, including social study, quiet contemplation spaces and a 550-seat auditorium. It will be home to the Student Support Services and will enhance the way that we support students. It will also provide the perfect link between the university and the Students' Union. Cardiff University Student Union is repeatedly ranked as one of the best student unions in the UK. It boasts amazing facilities, including a nightclub and a 1,600 capacity concert venue. It's a great place to study and socialise, and it's run by students for students. It offers loads of services, including Job Shop, which helps students to find part-time work alongside their studies, and Cardiff Student Lettings, which supports students in finding private accommodations owned by reputable landlords without agency fees. To the right of the Union Building is a fitness and conditioning centre. With facilities spread over 3 floors, the fitness suite offers a wide range of strength, conditioning and resistance-based equipment, as well as recently upgraded cardiovascular machines with TV, radio and free Wi-Fi. Right next to the fitness centre and Cathays train station, Abacus is the new home for the School of Mathematics and the School of Computer Science and Informatics. Unique features include makerspace and IT workshops and a new simulated trading room for financial mathematics. Situated a short distance away, we have the Trevithick and Queen's buildings, which host 3 academic schools, the School of Engineering, the School of Physics and Astronomy, and until the transition to Abacus is complete, the School of Computer Science and Informatics. The site hosts a range of teaching facilities, sophisticated computer laboratories, including specialist cybersecurity labs, a dedicated library, a student common room and a large cafeteria. The National Software Academy, which is part of the School of Computer Science and Informatics, is located a 15-minute train ride away in nearby Newport. The School of Journalism, Media and Culture is situated in the recently completed Central Square development in the city centre, opposite Cardiff Central train station. The school is right next door to BBC Cymru Wales, which further enhances its already strong links with the media and creative industries. Teaching facilities include TV and radio studios, newsrooms and editing suites. And here we are back at main building. I hope you've enjoyed the look around Cathays Park campus. You can find out more about our campuses and student life in Cardiff on the university's website. Thanks for joining me, and we hope to see you again in the future.
will who will guide us through the lecture and the discussion. And it's also a great privilege to welcome once again our speaker today, Dr. Sharibah Nurbrais. Without any further ado, I would like to hand over this session to our moderator today. This time is your Mr. Huda.
Dr. Sharifah Nurrais, our deputy speaker, respected lecturer, and general marketer. It is today I have already served as another of this lecture under the title Several People Modeling Healthcare. And today we are privileged to have with us the question regarding from Cardiff University, United Kingdom. The distinguished lecturer in the field of anatomy of the general and healthcare analysis. Dr. Grimes completed her PhD in biology from Cardiff University, following her master's degree in operational research and applied statistics, and a first-class honors degree in mathematics with the wow. Her research focuses on healthcare systems, including interdisciplinary health disease, disease progression modeling, and developmental decision making. She has been actively involved in research modeling on the biomedical institutions such as Cancer Research UK and Engineering and Information Research also, and has worked closely with NHS in the United Kingdom. Her publication has been published in reputable international journals, particularly in the areas of health technology, application, and public health research. What makes her work particularly inspiring is her interdisciplinary journey from social sciences to applied mathematics. Also, studying how mathematics and science can play a global impact, especially information system. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we talk about the blue and atom game decision. So I would like to invite Dr. Sharifah Nurrais to give a presentation for today. So for your information, the best three questions will be rewarded later. Okay, so prepare your question. And it's time for you to listen to the presentation by Dr. Sharifah Nurrais. So the floor is yours. Give round of applause one more time, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Bapak Huda and also Bapak Ibnu and the team, all the team of lecturer here who has invited me today. And I am very grateful for that. I think this is my first time to UNESA, to visit UNESA, and I hope this is not the last. Inshallah. Yeah. And also, I would like to thank you all for coming to this talk. As Pak Huda mentioned, I am from Cardiff University as a researcher. And also, I was embedded with NHS as well in my day-to-day work, where every day I deal with data analysis and help with simulation modeling for analyzing the say capacity and demand in the hospital. Yeah. And then I'm also a researcher at the moment affiliated with the Central for Mathematical Modeling and Simulations Institute Technology Bandung. I just started collaborating with some academics in ITB, and I am very grateful for that as well. So before my talk today, data-driven modeling in healthcare, I would like to introduce you a little bit about Cardiff University. I think you have seen the video earlier, right? From YouTube. You see that Cardiff is one of Russell University in United Kingdom, but we are situated in there's a little bit of yeah. We are in a country called Wales. It's a west. Can I do this? Yeah. This is Wales. And this is. So this is Wales. One of the country, part of the whole United Kingdom. We have England. I think Pak Huda and Pak Ibnu been in England, studying in England. They're very lucky and fortunate. And I studied in Cardiff. This is Cardiff. Here, Cardiff is a capital city of Wales. In Wales, there are probably around less than 4 million people. And we have our own language. So completely different. For example, if you want to say good morning, you don't say good morning, but you say borada. It's different. If you say thank you, you will say diolch. Yes. I hope I pronounce it right. I also don't speak Welsh. It's very difficult language, but yeah. So yeah, we are here in Cardiff, which only have about 500,000 people, maybe less than that, because it's including other area as well. So yeah, if you go to United Kingdom, to UK, don't say you go to England, but you go to United Kingdom and you please visit Wales, especially the one that's already been to England. Please come back and visit Wales. We are friendly people. Okay, so and that's where we are, and this is one of the main building in Cardiff University. Okay, and you've already seen earlier some of the building, and mathematics sits in a new building called Abacus, and we are merging with computer science. We are in this building together. Okay, and there are several groups, research groups in School of Mathematics, and one of them is operational research. And my supervisor, Professor Paul Harper, he supervised me during my PhD. So we have several people in our group, including statistician as well, and those people experts in financial mathematics. So if you want to go to do your PhD in statistics, you are most welcome, or financial mathematics. So this a little bit about Cardiff. Maybe you can ask, you are from data science, and you say, why is these people from healthcare modeling coming to our department? Why this matter for data scientists like you? I call you a data scientist. So there are at least two reasons. The first one is that data science is very important in many fields, including the area where I research, which is healthcare operational. So say I studied operational in a hospital, and I look at the data. I look at why people say have to wait long time for surgery, something like that. But before I do anything, before I do any modeling, I will look at the data. And when I look at the data, I will need the data science component or what elements in there, the tool, the data science tool to look at the data. And this is why very important. You are a data scientist, you are very important people. Before we do anything, before mathematician do the modeling, they will look at the data first. Okay. If it is data-driven modeling. And again, the second one, some of the theme that, or some of the, say, term that I will talk today, it's probably related or equivalent to what you've studied, right? Yeah, so I will say state transition models. Yeah, you know Markov models. Yeah, and also simulation framework. For you, probably you say synthetic data generation, right? And say optimization, same, like, yeah. So when I say I use agent-based modeling in my research, so for you, like multi-agent system. Right. So we are close, right? In fact, we are using same tool. Yeah. The thing is, maybe you focus on more like data, right? But in a sense, all the thing that I used, you probably learn it as well. Yeah, and you probably one day use it. So I'm here to introduce to you that there are some industry, like healthcare industry, where data scientists are very much in need. And we still need more data scientists. Why? Because healthcare organizations, they collect data. They collect patient data. But sometimes they just collect them. They don't know what to do with them. Yeah. They don't know how to deal. They don't know how do we use this for outside the one that already programmed that they used to report cases. How many people having TB, tuberculosis? How many people having, it's like, how many children are having stunting problem? Yeah. How many people having dengue fever in year 2025, for example? And that's a pretty standard descriptive statistic, right? Yeah. Outside that, probably still not no. Say, how do we use the data to model? How do we use the data to make decisions? Like in the hospital, the director observed that why there are so many patients we reject when they need bed because the bed's full. And as a director, maybe you will think, oh, just add the bed, right? Just add the bed. What's the problem? It's simple. You need more bed, you add the bed, right? Okay. It's not like difficult problem. But that's making decisions like reactive like that without any thinking, without using data as a base for your making decision. But if you have the data, you know how many people roughly coming every day. You know how long people actually stay in your beds. You know, say, how many doctors you have, how many nurses you have. You can analyze this, you can model this. And then, yes, it turned out, oh, probably people, so your department, so inpatient apa bahasa Indonesianya ya? Rawat inap, yeah, your inpatients, say have connection with other department, yeah. So it turned out it's not your divisions that actually have a problem, but other department. They are the one who don't have facility. So the queue from outside to go into your department, not because your department don't have any bed, but because the part of the hospital don't have enough, for example, doctor or anything. So this type of analysis is the one that's actually we study, so we help the decision maker to make decisions based on the data. Okay. That's why data analyst, data scientist could be very important in this industry. Okay. Now you may think about, what it is, why we have to look at disease, because sometimes we have seen this in recent pandemic with COVID-19, how serious the disease can be. And they can cause mortality, they can cause fatality, people lost their life because of the disease. Yeah, and in this example, as early as, I think the first one that is recorded is this Black Death, where on the 14th century is killing hundreds million people. Yeah. And some of these example, they are caused by bacteria or sometimes viruses like the COVID-19, you know. And they are very persistent. Some of the disease persistent. They're coming back again and again in time. And how do we know that? We're going to learn it from your data, from the data that we have. Yeah. So learning about the development of the disease could be very important, in helping the population. Okay. So there is actually a link here if you want to look at, with but I'm not going to open it. I don't want to mess about with the presentation. So okay, yeah, you can open it later if you want to. Okay, that's how serious disease can be. And now, with respect to modeling, there are two types in healthcare modeling. One with respect to disease modeling. The disease modeling, we look at, for example, the spread of particular disease. Say, like the recent history of COVID-19. When it started, we look at where it's happened. So from Wuhan, how that's happened and spread around the world, for example. And then when it's settled in Indonesia, how fast it is growing, the number of cases every day, in a month, in 2 months, and so on and so on. And then we look at also the progression within a person. For example, since the onset of, say, someone contracted with TB and they have connected with other people who's healthy, for example. And then since that first connection, how long the healthy people started to get that infected, So things like that. So we learned about this in order to do what? To inform the policymaker, what type of policy that may be implemented suit the certain context. Like in COVID-19, maybe the authority implement social distancing, yeah, something like that. So, or how many vaccines that we should provide? What is the percentage of population that we should actually give the vaccines? If we give all population the vaccine, it could be quite costly, right? But if we give some of it, but how much? How many? Yeah, 10% people, 20%, and so on. So with the data, we can model this is modeling. And the second one is organizational modeling. And this is where my work day to day, we're looking at, we're helping with the planning of the resources, to do what? To help increase the efficiency, the effectiveness. And another thing is, this is what is crucial, to kind of like improve the equality, accessibility of the healthcare. As we know, in many countries, in Indonesia, including, access to healthcare, access to diagnostic, say, facility, sometimes not even, right? Some FASCAs, will have, say, a certain diagnostic tax, but some don't. So learning where, with our limited funding, we only have a certain amount of money to provide like certain facility for testing. So, but if we want to buy that machine, where should we put this machine? Yeah. So something like this, we studied it in organizational modeling. Okay. And we're also learning about the Q and stuff. We'll talk about this in a minute. So just a little bit of basic modeling concept in case you are interested when you already graduated as a data scientist. Maybe you want to learn about modeling, yeah, as well. So think about if we consider a disease as a state of undesirable state, yeah, people getting ill, and then the illness becomes severe, and so on and so on. So it's like clinical staging model, yeah. So in here, we follow the patient through the times, and we're looking at the progression of their condition. So in this case, we look at an example development of AIDS. Yeah, starting from, say, some people, oh, unstable connection. Sorry. Can you see that now? Oh, you still see? Okay, good. So this condition called asymptomatic, and then progress to symptomatic. Asymptomatic is the condition where you have the illness, but you don't show it. Yeah, you look like healthy, oh, I'm not ill, but actually you are ill. That asymptomatic. You cannot see the symptom. And then can progress to have a symptom. And then from there, it can develop AIDS, and then progress to death. Now, if I ask you a question, what do you see about this flow of the state? Can you see what happened there? Look at the arrows. Where do they go? Yes. So basically, if once, or you, or no, you, hopefully not, na'udzubillah. If once contracted by HIV, develop into AIDS, there's no hope. So you just get it a whole your life until you die. Okay. Now, the thing that we do, for example, what is actually say, what can we say if we do intervention, where is intervention can be? So this is the modeling we'll have. So we say, what about if the intervention is helping people with symptomatic? When we see the symptom that is not developed into AIDS yet, we help them to kind of like stay in that. So in order to do what? So the progression, we stop kind of like progression from symptomatic to be AIDS. Okay. So that's kind of like the analysis that we can do. Now, for the data scientist, what typical data that you think you need to collect when you model disease progressions or disease modeling? What data do you think you can collect? Do you know? So for a certain disease modeling, what you collect is, say, how long people stay in a certain condition. Yeah. And then when they move, what is the proportion, say, move from mild to severe or mild to moderate, and so on and so on. And that's only part of the data you collected. Another thing, maybe you work for, say, the effectiveness of drugs, for example. And you're looking at, comparing two groups, and then whether there are any different in the development or the progress of the disease. So the model in here, what you collect is how long people actually stay. And typically they are different from one another. Yeah, because this is the variability. One person stay 4 months in one state. I stay maybe 6 months in one state, and so on and so on. So this is actually quite difficult because when you see the variability in, yeah. Another one is if you're looking at it from the organizational point of view, this is, you can say a care pathway, and think about as a care pathway is a set of defined states. People coming to hospital, yeah. So this is a conceptual model for emergency department flow. So people coming into any accident and emergency in us is like UGD. Yeah, UGD ya, Nasita. Then from there, they move to assessment unit, yeah. And then depending on the condition, they could be staying in the bed or they could go home, and so on and so on. Did you see that this model similar, the concept similar to the one that is disease modeling? Yeah. Yeah. So you can end up have the same number of states, but the purpose of it, the one that differentiate, yeah, either disease or now what type of information do you collect is similar. How long people stay when they arrive in UGD, how long they wait until they are called by the doctor, and so on. How long they are, how long they stay with the doctor, and so on. Okay. Okay, so by doing the modeling, disease modeling, organization modeling, there's a possibility that we can deal with the disease like we touched earlier. So how we prevent the spread getting further, it's like earlier with COVID, social distancing, and then early detection, so a certain communicable disease. I know you're dealing with uncommunicable disease. Yeah. And also what treatment should we give? What is the best treatment, and so on. And again, the potential benefits include for us, like for the decision maker or the stakeholder, to increase understanding of the disease processes, and then to inform choice of medical action. Like earlier, how many bed we need to add? Probably not the bed, just add the doctor. Or maybe not the doctor, it's just the nurse. Something like that. And then again, but this is the very challenging for public health. Yeah, decision maker. So determining, the best policy relating to the where we should put our, say, fund. We have limited funding. Do we need to buy the machine or do we need to buy the medicine? Yeah, or hire the doctor more. So that's one of the difficulties. Okay, moving on. So now we're going to evolution of modeling approach. So if we trace back, this is actually relating to so data regarding disease has been like starting to be collected ages ago. Yeah. So epidemic of because they try to encourage to record the disease. Yeah. And how that disease progress with the environments and stuff, and then the London Bills of Mortality, they collected number of people dead every week, by different causes of death. This already been collected, data been collected. And then these are people who develop models to understand spread of disease. So for example, the first one, Daniel Bernoulli, modeling, say, people with infected and immune. And then John Snow linked the cholera to contaminated water. So this is interesting here because when the cholera outbreaks, and he collected data, people in the neighborhood who's actually having the cholera, and then mapped it. So using the map, so and then find that that's around the water supply. Yeah. So for data scientists like you can use this, like if the information in the data have, say, geographical information, yeah, where is the patient's, I'm not necessarily address, the dwelling, and then you can analyze this depending on the type of disease that you like. Just using at the graph is simple, like linking what facility you have with the outbreak, and then Sir Donald Ross, model for malaria interventions, found that the malaria is affected by or transmitted by mosquitoes. Yeah. This is the one. Hammer gave a very famous lecture. I think I summarized there are two things that important. So he mentioned is the variability of the disease and the perseverity. Variability, disease can change. Like COVID-19, how many variants are there now? Yeah. And severity, yeah. And the severity, it means that it will come back again. Certain disease will come back again after 10 years again. Keras kepala dia. Nggak mau dipunahkan. Nah, the last one is the famous one. I don't know. I want to ask, have any of you studied mathematical biology in SMA? SMA? No. Yeah, it's a sorry? Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. No problem. So yeah, basically this is a famous one. Maybe you get it in your first undergraduate mathematics, yeah? Do you study that? Like modeling differential equation? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, good. So yeah, so he developed a model with which divided a state into three, right? Susceptible, infected, and recovered. It's very famous, and the variant of it is like lows now. Yeah, and applied it's in many communicable disease, right? Infectious disease. Yeah. Oh, sorry. But what I want to say here is that relevant to you is data collection. That's the power, isn't it? You can aim to make model, but if you don't have any data, you won't do any analysis, right? So data collection for you is the relevant as a data scientist to know what do you need from my data in order to help me to model that. Things like that. And knowing how to, what you call it, wrangling? To transform your data and then to say get the parameters from your data, and that's a skill, right? Skill. Do you? Yeah. What do you say? Represent. Hmm. 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 So another one that analytical stochastic model. This is from mid-20s. Yeah, so there's improved detail, but still limited. You probably study this, yeah? Markov model. And then the more complex than the stochastic model, yeah, where we use simulation model and other OR techniques. And this is helped because increasing computer power. Yeah, we are very lucky. Yeah. More practical application, like I said, this is just one disease, one communicable disease, and also non-communicable disease. Yeah, yeah, we'll talk about this later. And also both strategic and operational model as well. So more and more area that is applied in modeling. So they, more and more data scientists need. And then in the era of big data, hybrid models and agent-based, then, starting 2000. And this is a combination of our methods and agent-based approaches. And it can solve large national and global problems. Could be real or near-time data feeds, yeah, and digital revolution, but it could be quite computationally costly as well. Yeah, in technicality, yeah, the technicality behind that. However, with agent-based, we can consider the behavior aspect of the modeling. Yes, yes. Where maybe before the analytic will not necessarily incorporate the behavior aspect in the model, right? how say a patient there with a certain regime of medication intake maybe it's not included, but now with the ability to model it using agent based, maybe we can do that. And then for 2015 onwards, then data science and machine learning integration, deep learning, clinical prediction, image diagnostic, predicting if you have a image of scan, for example, of intern, so a doctor can, be helped on the analyzing what is it, is there any cancer in there or not, because sometimes our eyes is limited, right? And could be quite subjective, but with this say machine learning methods can build an app or something that a doctor can feed in the what you call it image, and then come up with a suggestion what it is likely that it's seen in the image, and so on and so on. However, there is some challenges as well, yeah, interpretability. And certainly in my line of work, as I mentioned earlier with some of the lecturer, if we work with, say, people from Dinas Kesehatan, who's not necessarily have a background in simulation modeling, what we understand, not necessarily they understand. And sometimes they want to see that our model capture real setting of their say hospital or system. And this is difficult for us because obviously with respect to data, we cannot capture everything. Yeah, there should be some assumption we have to make to simplify the system that we model. And communicating this to people from health office, for example, or any stakeholder, this is quite challenging for data scientists. Yeah. How they will trust ourselves that we build their system, be a model. That's difficult. And when we have the results, sometimes they work with numbers, exact number. I want to know how many people die tomorrow. If they don't work with like variabilities, like, confident intervals. Don't like that. But if we say 10 people exact, but then if we make mistake in prediction, no, you're wrong. Sometimes a simple communication like that could be quite challenging in order to gain trust. But they collect data. They have a lot of data. The thing is, not necessarily they know how to deal with the data. Yeah. When you come up with a model, you can talk about it. You can say, I need the data that look like this. And I need the data at the end will look like that. So how do they not necessarily know how to come up with that, but as a data scientist, you know how to what you call it, to process the data, from the raw data to the form that you need to feed in the model, and that's where you come from. Okay, what next? Now this is some of the methods. So some of the methods that we use in operational research. In simulation, we learn it here. Discrete event simulation. No? Okay. Queuing theory. Okay. So basically they deal with problem where they have queue problem. Yeah. Antrian. Ya, kenapa antrian di rumah sakit panjang? Kenapa orang nunggu untuk dioperasi lama banget? Ada yang berbulan-bulan, bahkan ada yang bertahun-tahun. Biasanya, I'm speaking Indonesian, sorry. Yeah, sometimes it's just sweet like that. Okay. Sometimes in the system where the healthcare is free, yeah, like where I live, NHS will provide service. Maybe in Indonesia starting with BPJS ya, adanya insurance, national insurance. The problem is with the queue. Yeah, because everyone say I have the right to see the doctor. Yeah. So when I'm ill, I want to see the doctor and I want to see it now. But think about if everyone doing the same thing, yeah, and the doctor's numbers not changing, what's happened? Queue, right? I tell you, I'm not saying bad about my system, but this is real. That when I am ill, I was ill, I phone, I need to see the doctor. And they said, oh, no, it's full. The earliest is 2-3 weeks time. And when 2-3 weeks time, I call again, I'm already fine. So that's a problem where the system says free. Yeah, you don't pay. So people think they can go to the doctor and get treatment as soon as possible. But that's not the case when everybody's thinking the same thing. And then when we analyze the system where there is queue, yeah, discrete event simulations is a very good tool, yeah, suitable to, and also in analytic queuing theory as well to see, the utilization of your resources. If we want, where is the bottleneck? Yeah. And then what can we do in order to reduce the queue and so on and so on. And then another one is system dynamic. I know maybe you're familiar with this, yeah? Yeah. They have the qualitative, which is like use causal loop diagram to capture all the variables, all the connection between one area to another. So it could be quite complex. And from there, we can see what quantitative model that we can build. If we can see the flow of patients, for example, in the model that we draw. So another one is game theory. I don't know if you learned. Yeah, yeah. And then another one is craft agent-based simulation. Use this. We talk about one of these later in the presentation. Okay. So another one, this is probably you learned, right? No? And this is this type of modeling used quite a lot in healthcare. Yeah. Why? Because we want to know what is the trend of the incoming patients in 5 years, 10 years. No, it's maybe too long. Well, you know best, because we should actually, if we model too long, could be not quite accurate, right? Yes, especially if you don't have enough data. But this type of modeling is very useful and very much applied in healthcare. So to model any demand coming, any facility needed, something like that. And another one is optimizations. This can be applied, for example, in surgery scheduling, yeah, in a hospital, or staff scheduling, yeah, or room scheduling. Yeah. I don't know if you applied it in university. So exam room scheduling. And also there's a location allocation model, which is quite useful to see if we have money enough to build a hospital, where should we build the hospital? Okay, now just to summarize, from data scientist to simulation, data science, so what we could do is just an example. Maybe we can use, say, machine learning, yeah, to do what? We can use it to parameter estimation, yeah, outcome predictions or demand forecasting. And then what we do with that, we don't stop there. Okay, what we do, we feed that result into simulation model. Yeah. either using discrete event, system dynamic, or agent based. That's what actually really good. So we use the real data to build the simulation model. Now is some of the example of mixed method. So earlier we touched upon individual methods, and this is some example where people have studied. In fact, this is done by Dr. Tucson. He's one of my colleagues in Cardiff University. Yeah, and this is his PhD. He looking at modeling the impact of social networks on the spread of obesity. I know it's very interesting because he models the behavior or inside, like you may say, individual using system dynamics, QRD, and then model the social networks using agent based, and the colors, different colors represent the BMI. Whether normal, overweight, obese, and so on and so on. This is maybe I should do this. Okay. The second one is, oh sorry, I forgot to mention. So then he analyzed and he divided that the population into different groups of age, So young people and older people, how social network actually help reinforce, the effects of spread of obesity. Yeah. And interestingly, it's different from young people to older people. Yeah. For young people, social network is pretty much like, the driving. Yeah. So, the second one is combining agent based for depression progression and system dynamic for treatment, pathway. And this is one of the complex as well, because the agent here could be is models with three different severity. We have mild condition, moderate condition, and severe condition. And this is uncommunicable disease. Yes. And what difference from most model at that time is we include those people in treatment and not in treatment, because we want to analyze the effect of not being in treatment, to the progression of the more severe level. And that's one of the things. And the connection between the individual model with the treatment model is to look at what is the impact of this depression to the healthcare facility, and the vice versa, the availability of the treatment, say, or the facility, the limitation, how does impact the progressions of people being more ill. For example, if people wait, they don't go to the hospital, they get more depressed, for example. Yeah. So what we found is if we treat the depression early, that will reduce the progression to the severe level. And if we treat people in the community rather than in hospital, it will actually save later on people becoming ill and go to emergency, and then stay in the hospital inpatient, which is very expensive, very expensive. So this is the type of analysis that you can do as well, looking at mixing model between the progressions of disease and the treatment pathway. Like you can use uncommunicable disease or communicable disease, a similar idea. Yeah. And I think another one is also agent based. And this is modeling adolescent smoking behavior with social network analysis. This is done by Angelica, and he used to be PhD student in Cardiff as well. Okay, so, and what the study did is surveying 18 schools, so go to schools, and then they survey students who their friend, whether they smoke or not. The red one is the smoker. Yes, stay here. You can do this as well, can you? I mean, social network like this. Did you study it? Oh yeah, that's the data. That's it. Yeah, that's the data. Okay, and then as time progress, you see the one that is actually 59, they're no longer there, out of school. But look at the number of people that students smoke. Yeah. Yeah. So social network is so the one on our analysis is that the young kids, the social status influence the way they choose their friend. Yeah. And also the one that's popular will have more connections, right, with other people. And the result is, for the policymaker, if we want to help eradicate, the spread or reduce the spread of the smoking, we target the key person, the key individual in the groups, so in the school, the gang leader. And we educate them. We're not capture them and put them in the jail. We educate them, how bad is the smoking and this and that. So hopefully his behavior or this leader behavior will influence other friends as well. Okay, this is his paper. If you are interested to look at this, yeah. And what I'm saying is all the three mixed method that I mentioned, they started using analogic. Although I think because at that time things get difficult, I think others using Python. But it started using analogic, except for the depression one, skip using analogic because the analogic at that time still managed to be able to, still able to kind of like model the complexity. What I'm saying here is you can do the modeling using the software. Yeah, if you not like want to code it yourself using Python or other software, you can use commercial software. For system dynamics, some things like FanSim is very good. They have a PLE versions which is free for you to download. Yeah, to learn to start. Do you know that? You can model your disease progression using FanSim. Yeah, and AnyLogic certainly for discrete event simulation, Simulate is a good tool. However, you can also build it in Python. There are some packages for discrete event, or network. Yeah, it's like one of my colleague, Dr. Garan Palmer. He developed like package in Python, for analyzing Q. It's called Q. CIW. You can find it. It's free, so you can have a look. And they have, I think he provided the instruction as well, how to build the system or the model. So you can have a look at that. Okay. Mhm. You have it? You use. Good. Yeah. 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 So yeah, please have a look. It is very useful and interesting. Certainly for you, data analyst, one day you go out work and you will ask, what skill do you have? Oh, I can develop a model using Python, this and that. So yeah, this will be very useful. Please have a look. I might send the link to Pahuda and you can share it, yeah, later. Okay, so this is just some of the what you call it, some of the simulator built by people using analogic, you know, software. So you can have a look at this as well later. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this. Oh yeah, this is when they model the spread of coronavirus and they look at the impact, say in here, if the population in small numbers very quickly, people actually get ill, and here is the nice thing. So when people move about random, there is no Oh, so yeah, sorry. Yeah. Okay, so it's fine then. So there is nothing in here. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, we just move on. Unless
So I think the release provided okay.
yeah, okay. So I'll carry on then. Okay, so in the end, as a summary for modeling, this is actually quite old picture from 2004. And you can ask yourself, whether, what type of modeling that you can use or tools, sorry, you can use method you can use by asking, is interaction between individual important? Yeah. Whether it's going to say transmit any disease if I connect with Pahuda, say talking like this, or not. So if it is important, then you ask another question: is individual level modeling needed? Because the variability to capture the variability, and then if no, then system dynamic because it's aggregated. You don't need like individual level data. But if it is yes, then discrete event simulation. Still working in a group, but each group will have their own characteristic. Yeah. So if the interaction is not important, then you ask question again. Can patient pathway be represented adequately by probability tree? Then if it's yes, decision tree. If not, you ask again. Can Markov model be built without needing an excessive number of states? Like earlier, simple, yeah? And then if yes, then yeah, just use Markov model. Yeah? No need to be complicated. Or if not, that individual sampling model, like agent base. Okay. So this is how you think about which model that I need to use. Okay. Right. Now is the last part is the example. The example of a project starting from data gathering to policy implication. Say, this is a project done in Indonesia for several years. Yeah. And it was funded by EPSRC, yeah, through their Global Challenge Research Fund. And it's collaboration between Cardiff University, Ambulans Gawat Darurat 118, Welsh Ambulance, and another academic from Wisconsin, Madison, USA at that time. Now, this is a project pipeline. So the first one, this is probably might interest you, is information gathering and data collection. As you know that data that we need is not always available, not always collected. So what we need to do is we do the survey. So what we did, we surveyed 5 general hospitals in Jakarta. We collect lots of data from people going to UGD. And we ask them whether they use ambulance or not. If they don't use ambulance, why they don't use ambulance? If they use ambulance, why they use ambulance? Okay, we want to know, and we collect all other information from the patient. And we also utilize data from BPS. They have published data, right? I think we can use that as well. And then also we talk to the stakeholders. For example, certain data say, what is the response time ambulance say from people calling until they go to the patients? Sometimes we don't get this unless we talk to the stakeholder, people who run the ambulance system. So they can give us roughly estimation, starts from the stakeholder. And also from the literature. This is also very important for you data scientists. If you don't have data, say, you want to model, you can use literature, information from the literature. Although you have to think about quality, but sometimes we don't have any option. Yeah, we don't have any option. And also other administrative data collected by, from the survey, we can find that less than 10% people actually that attended the ED that's use ambulance. So many people don't use ambulance even with the trauma cases. Okay, so ambulance come as a third choice or fourth. Yeah, they use motorcycle, they use their own car, they use like Grab car, go car, or public transport. But sometimes their conditions not suitable for them to go with, using motorcycle. Yeah, and this is something that we need to do before we do any modeling. We need to find out, the proportion of people who's traveling using ambulance and not things like that. And we're gonna use this later for our simulation modeling. And then from the survey, we get the reason why they don't use ambulance. And the majority of patients, they don't know how to contact ambulance. But now probably changed because over the years, PK3D that's belong to Dinas Kesehatan in Jakarta. Yeah, provide the ambulance. They have developed platforms where people can contact ambulance using WhatsApp as well as telephone. Yeah. And more people contacted them because people more and more aware that ambulance provided by 119 PK3D is free. Yeah. So as I said earlier, if the service is free, then lots of people is gonna use it, right? And the thing is whether they are actually deserve to use, appropriate to use ambulance or not. Yeah. So many service is just for transfer between hospital or for appointment only. Exactly. And people sometimes they're not aware that ambulance of the ambulance service. They don't know that the ambulance they can use the ambulance. They thought ambulance belong to the hospital and they cannot use the ambulance, right? And then sometimes people think, oh yeah, I'm fine. I don't need the ambulance. But actually they do. Yeah. So if you have problem with breathing, yeah, most likely you're gonna need medical expert, right? Yeah. And then this is the one that is actually relevant to ours is ambulance were not available when they contacted. So what does it mean? Ambulance busy. They've been used. The question is it the capacity that is lacking? There's not enough ambulance or what? As it turned out, in Jakarta, we have 80 ambulance operating. That's only belong to the government. And there are many more ambulances available here. Could be 500 altogether. If only, they all were like in a unity, integrated system. They could like serve people more. Yeah. So something like this we can analyze, we can model. And then the things that people think that ambulance cost money. It is true. If you don't, if you're not covered by BPJS, you have to pay, right? Yeah. Although some charity ambulance, they will give free. If it is like accident and emergency on the road, for example, it's free because it's okay. And then again, the last one, ambulance took too long to arrive. What do you think happened here? Why ambulance take too long? Yeah, yeah. And also outside environment like traffic. You probably don't have traffic here. You have, yeah, okay. But in Jakarta, we certainly have traffic. Yeah, yeah. So the distance only 2 kilometers, but it takes yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why people sometimes they're not patient. They can't wait for the ambulance, and they just take motorbike because they motorbike can. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the thing, and that is the reality of our carnival. Yeah, in Indonesia. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next step after we gather the data, we analyze them according to what we need is we need to make an estimation of you probably learned this, some methods to do this, so we need to know what is actually the demand for the ambulance or emergency in Jakarta. Studies probably done that, but very rare. Yeah, so very rare. I don't know if you've done this here in Surabaya as well, but very rare. What is actually the demand for emergency service in Surabaya, for example? I don't know. And the purpose of this is to know the annual volume of hospital emergency visit and the corresponding demand for the ambulance service. So people who go to the hospital, UGD, and then part of them who actually use the ambulance. How many of them? We want to know because our survey didn't capture the entirety of the demand, right? In fact, this is actually the reality. In any data, one day, when you finish, you work in, say, in healthcare industry, you work with the data from hospital. What you know is the data, the patient that is collected by the hospital, right? But there are many more people who don't go to the hospital that not captured in the data. Correct? Yeah. So you don't really know the real demand because there is hidden demand. Yeah. And that is the difficult. How are we going to estimate that? Some illness people don't like to be exposed. Yeah. TB, tuberculosis. Yeah. In the people can be contracted or spread, the TB can be spread in the workplace. But people don't want to go to the hospital to tell that, to get diagnosis, I have TB. Because why? They will embarrass. Yes, they will feel embarrassed. And the consequence probably, yeah, if your boss is not a nice person, they say, okay, you go home now. Yeah, yeah, they will fire you. So there's a lot of hidden cases, maybe for some diseases where people are embarrassed because the stigma, right? Even for mental health like depression, like it said that everyone will experience it in some degree. But we don't really want to go to the expert, to the clinician, because we don't want people to know that we actually have mental health and it's going to stick with us, right? Oh, so yeah, that's one of the challenges. So we want to know with this simulation, we want to know what is the demand for the admins. It's nearly finished. So yeah, in order to do that, we need to estimate 4 things. The population of each area per period, day and night. This is per kelurahan. Yeah. We divided the demand into per kelurahan. Yeah. And then we need annual per capita hospital emergency visit also per kelurahan. And then the probability of an emergency taking place in each period, which is day and night. And then the rate of ambulance needs per area. And we use this Monte Carlo and compared it with naive methods. And then, yeah. So for you, the relevance probably this, that in this project, we, the data ingestions, like we use data from different sources and then we combine them. And that's also the skill. How you combine data from BPS with the population data and break down into kelurahan data, for example, that's the skill that you will learn or you have. And then how do we clean then links the data? And data from Survey, even though we already careful, they're still not perfect. Even data collected by the government, not perfect. Some missing data. Now, how do we deal with that? And then feature engineering, such how we create a new variable from the data that we have, for example, yeah, to be used in the simulation. Okay, so this is just maths a little bit about what's happening. It's very simple. So in the end, we want to estimate the population size per neighborhood and the probability. We use the probability of the emergency happening earlier, we said, and the expected annual rate of ED visit per capita in each neighborhood, and the proportion of ED visit from neighborhoods that arriving with ambulance. And in the end, we visualize that using map. So we know where is actually demand high and where is actually, less demand compared to others area. And the last one is the optimization simulation framework, but I'm not going to go deep into this because you can read the paper if you are interested. So this is just a mathematical formulation for the survival, the probability of survival of the patient using a different ambulance type. Okay. So again, I will leave this maybe for you. You can have a look at this and because the time is almost up. Is it? Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is you can read this. Yeah. Read the paper if you are interested. And then all of these models, we consider the variation in demand, neighborhood, and also level of resources, different types. We have two here model, motorcycle ambulance, which is speed, could for a speed respond because going into the small alleyway, so not alleyways, like a road, small road, narrow road, and the ambulance then, different type of ambulance. And we consider traffic congestion as well and stuff. And some of the output, this is that's a picture of we can do is just getting if we need to put an ambulance in a post, how many motor ambulance needed, how many van ambulance needed, some things like that. Okay. So and then we analyze as well the response time in comparison with the resource level. We increase the resource level, of course it will reduce the response time, but we can't like increase forever and ever. At some point will like there's no this doesn't make much difference. Yeah. Okay, so this is just the final result. One is like some of this important is like increasing resources has a positive effect on all the KPI that we look, utilization, response times, the number of abandoned calls, and so on and so on. And also, we look at different method, say using grid performs, how if we just put ambulance just using it every like 5 square meter, things like that, compare to like what we do using like a post and optimize it, which one is better, something. And then the nice thing about this is that introducing secondary vehicle, which is the motorcycle ambulance, is actually can increase digitalization because all that abandoned call, can be addressed then by the motorcycle ambulance because they are fast, right? To respond. So, and then this, I think, discussion with, say, the health office. We present this to the health office, our result, and they understand that the points or the focus is not adding ambulance, but the motorcycle ambulance could help their response time. Yeah, so now they have, I think, 13 motor ambulance now. Yeah, it's very good. And we also run the workshop to teach people, with the method that we use or any other OR method that we use. Yeah. So people can, expand, as people can understand what we do and they can also apply that in their own system. So, Okay, I think that is my talk today. There are some question here. Don't ask me this question, but this is a question for you to think. For you to think for your research, maybe you can have a look and yeah, which one is better, machine learning based forecasting or Monte Carlo simulation, something like that, or what can you do? So in helping low resources setting, uh, instance, say like facility like in Indonesia, using a certain method that you teach in machine learning and so on and so on. Okay, I think that's all my presentation today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for approaching for this part of the conference and for the presentation on contract with the employees and tax. All right, thank you. Okay, now we will open the floor for discussion. So for all the participants who want to ask a question, you may raise your hand or simply type up and please repeat to your account because it's question. I do not present what I think you have. Okay, yeah. Ini juga arti bahasa Indonesia dan juga Indonesia dan lain sebagainya.
Boleh pakai bahasa Indonesia nggak, Pak?
Boleh ya.
Melihat di Indonesia itu kan awareness masyarakatnya masih rendah, terus juga akses beda jauh kota sama daerah, terus juga ada sistem rujukan yang ribet, terus juga ya tadi disinggung juga ambulan nggak selalu tersedia kayak cepat atau terus mahal dan lain sebagainya. Nah, gimana sih model healthcare ini tuh bisa tetap valid di Indonesia yang dengan kondisi seperti itu? Terus juga apabila data itu menunjukkan bahwa faktor seperti awareness dan persepsi itu lebih dominan daripada faktor sistem, kira-kira model itu dapat mengakomodasi gak perilaku masyarakat Indonesia yang seringkali tidak mengikuti rekomendasi medis seperti itu?
Actually, yeah, here I'm going to that reference. Yeah, so I think there are two questions. The first question is, you can see that the traffic is really bad. Yeah, that traffic is really bad. Yeah, how about transportation for ambulance related to healthcare? Yeah, if you are going to traffic, that's really bad. This is relevant or not. The second is relevant or not when following healthcare. Yeah, and the second one. The second one was what was it? Oh yeah, the second one, there is another factor, for example, awareness. The people are not aware about the system of how the network, but that's only the program actually. So how to do the right one? Yeah, so the non-awareness of the people about how the network in Indonesia basically like a bigger than the system itself. So how the model is relevant then? Yeah, already how actually with the awareness.
The first one is traffic condition, right? Yeah. Yes, the model you should consider that. So now there's data from say TomTom or other platform that collect travel time. Yeah. And that travel time will be different if the ambulance travel in the morning or certain time or in the evening. And you could in your model consider that, so the traveling say in nighttime will be this average this minutes from one area to another, something like that. So you can actually still relevant. In fact, it is very relevant because it's kind of like give you more say make you more creative, right? So you don't just consider everything's will be the same. So like you travel 5 kilometers in the city of Surabaya, will take the same time as you travel from 5 kilometer in the Kabupaten Malang, for example, which is very different, right? So you can take that considerations. And then you can say maybe the ambulance post in Surabaya will need more posts, sorry, for example, because of the length of the time that they need to just travel in a short distance and take more time compared to the ones like in Kabupaten Malang. If the post is far away, but there is no traffic, they will reach the same, time to the hospital and so on. So yeah, you should consider it's still relevant, about, in fact, it is more interesting, right? It's more interesting to model variability in that traffic like that. Yeah. The second one, I hope that answered the question. The second one is about the awareness of people, and this is, I think, touching to the behavior aspect of population, right? Yeah. 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 First of all, you would, and as in the end, what you need is the parameter, right? Yeah. So now you think about in your model where this awareness will affect. For example, the say exactly, or if you want to consider at the starting point, yeah. For example, people don't not aware of the ambulance exists, say 80%, 20% are aware. So if there is an emergency, then there is a 20% chance that person is going to use the called ambulance. You can add that in there, okay, the awareness. And then now in your analysis, you say, what about is the awareness increase? And now not only 20%, but say 50% people. And how does affect to the demand or how many calls more, increase, for example. So something like that you can add. But if your analysis is more to kind of like the outcome, the people get more ill. So when they ill, this is a separate list. When they ill, they become emergency. And that's how that's gonna affect the the calls for the ambulance and so on and so on. It's depend what and it what at what points you want to analyze the behavior of people. At the starting point, when they care about themselves and they need an ambulance, or maybe they already know there is ambulance exists, but because it's take too long. So for example, if the queue for the ambulance is too high, yeah, and this is for sending an ambulance, and people new call coming, but because they see there is a long queue, and they will, yeah, they avoid it. They just gone. You can model that, yeah, in the queuing theory, in the in the game theory, queuing theory, you can model that. And as I said, it depends where do you want to put, you add that behavior aspect in the model, but certainly you can. The key challenge for you, the key challenge is how do you collect the data? Yeah. How do you make assumptions, or how do you know that 50% people aware or 20% not aware? And that is your big challenge.
That's your question. Okay, yeah. That's a very good idea, because maybe for the education system, sometimes it's really difficult to start collecting the data, but that's going to be different when we do the voting, right? That's we have to do. Okay, so anyone else? Okay, I see Habib and someone from international group, international class. Okay, Habib first, please.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to connect your point on organizationally modeling, specifically routing games and system dynamics to extreme event like the tragic train collision in Bekasi just 2 days ago. Even like this caused an instant massive data drift, where historical patient flow data becomes completely irrelevant in such chaotic scenarios. How do integrated hospital network adapt their simulation model in real time to dynamically reroute ambulance and prevent critical bottlenecks without having to wait and retrain the models? Thank you.
Yeah, so you may actually develop an accident, but also this is the case like this group. Yeah, it's not your partner, and this nothing happen, hospital in the hotel in real time. If there is accident like that, and then connected to the system of the ambulance services, we have to do that as well. So how the response time for real time is used. Is it profitable or not, or we need to try to do it or not?
That's a good question. If you ask yourself, what is the purpose of your model?
Sorry. You need to ask yourself, what is the purpose of your model? What do you need to find out? You can't just build model for the sake of model. You need to know what is your question. So if your question is to find out what is the response time of the ambulance at the time of emergency, you can just collect the data, right? You can just collect the data at that time. And then you can use the data for building your simulation later on. If, for example, things like this happen again, this is what we can model. And then you say at this time, unless you already have the data beforehand, then you can model. But then you can say, this time's very bad, a lot of casualty in this collision, and we only have 2 ambulance or 3 ambulance, for example. How do we model this? So the purpose of your model first, what do you want? Do you want that at the time of collision, ambulance arrive in 5 minutes or something like that? It's not model, right? It's a policy, and where depending on where your ambulance posts are. So, but when you want to model it, you want to ask question, what is the purpose of your model? Okay. You can in a real time models, say when people coming in to a facility, for example, UGD, UGD, and then maybe you can model real time, but this is still challenging because it's not as easy, because even you collect the data still need to be processed, right? And still time between the data, the process, and the modeling outcome. Yeah. So for example, you want to predict what is the number of people coming next hour into my UGD, for example. You can do that because I want to know how many bed I need. Yeah, you can do that. But it's challenging because do we have enough infrastructure to do that collect the data in the hospital? Do we have people like you who build the models and who can actually connect from raw data, process it, model it, output it, and give prediction? Next hour, there's 50 people coming. They will go to surgery. They will go to pediatric. They will go to mental health, for example. You can build that, but yeah, it is possible. But for emergency like that, I don't know, is real time actually have any benefit? Yeah, benefit. But yeah, it's certainly a good idea. I have a thing. You never know. You never know. You build like a real time simulation. Put that in a ambulance office, and and then you can see. You can say next hour there's an accident in this area. Yeah. Oh, not accident. Don't say accident. I don't like it. Just say the need for ambulance. Yeah. Yeah, there is a need for ambulance in this area. Next hour, there is one in this area, one in this area. It's doable. You're forecasting. Yeah.
Additional,
No.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing. I think it's considered already. I think, the first question could be this number. Like, could we set up? Yeah.
First of all, thank you for your sharing knowledge today. My name is Mylofia from international class. Before the per- the class start today, I briefly looked into your profile at Cardiff University, and I found your publishes article around 6 or 7. And what interests me is the title of evaluating the implementation of data-driven modeling in healthcare from last year. What interested me from that article is the technical validation of your model robustness. My questions is beyond standard accuracy metrics, how is your architecture engineered to detect and filter adversarial permutations at the ingestion layer? And if a sensor malfunctions and introduces high frequency noise that mimics a clinical symptom, what architectural circuit breakers are in place to prevent the model from generating a false positive inference? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, that was a really specific question regarding the article that we published last year. Yeah, can you repeat again what the title of the article was?
Evaluating the implementation of data-driven modeling in healthcare.
Okay. In healthcare, I just read the healthcare in can you like read it again slowly, please?
Oh, I'm sorry, I mistaken it. The publishes that I read is Survey of Ambulance Usage by Patients in Metropolitan and Provincial Cities in Indonesia for Emergency Medical.
What is the exact question again?
Beyond standard accuracy metrics, how is your architecture engineered to detect and filter adversarial perturbations at the ingestion layer?
So it's really specific that the way you the adversarial what again?
Adversarial perturbations.
Perturbation. In in what again in the last one?
At the ingestion layer.
Ingestion.
Yes, ingestion layer.
Can you come here maybe? Can you come here? I guess let's see the article, please. Yeah, before actually trying to use what paper, but okay. This is not actually looking no. Yeah, para automatic our adversarial integration layer. With approximately to and then how to filter the adversarial application. Do you get that in the output? Maybe not my article. Oh, great. Yeah. Alright, thank you. I think it's okay, we can discuss about each one because there are some, yeah, there are some specific, stuff that we are saying, for example, here, about the fixed or, you can go to. Oh, the correct, okay, yeah. Actually, the question is really specific, there are some really specific terms that is the vehicle, but the article, they are stated for storage with particular. So maybe the speaker will start later with the article exactly in 6,000 words. But that's still okay, that's a really good idea. Give number please. Okay, I think we still have some time. Yeah, I think so. So, oh, there is some question in Zoom. Oh, well, okay, that's one. Okay. Do you want to answer the questions first, or we have here the word live? Okay, from the particular line, Kevin had the question for the quite a long question, so let's see. Yeah, I will just make it anyway. In Malaysia, we found different islands, they are on the places, and they have workers who they write present notes by hand on paper. In village, it was unfortunately going to work hard, but have people trying to find their computer. Sometimes there is situation what the government hospital is, okay. Some clinics have no internet, like that. The government wants to reduce traffic and improve the station of collecting food data is very difficult, okay. That is true. The question is, how can LLMs have report in multiple languages and the specialists, etc. Plus, standard global concern. So basically, the people who speak matter, speak about people, speak different languages,
Yeah, it's very good question, but I have to say I'm not the expert to that. Yeah, but at the moment, you can build like machine learning for reading, right? If you train that, but this requires an expert in that language. Yeah, in the Javanese language, in the Sundanese language, and in the mixed language, like you mentioned. Yes, only people know that. The machine will know, and unless you train them, right? And it's probably doable. I don't know if people here ever done that. I don't know. Yeah, but you use the standard method. You start with what people have done when using the language, international language like English, and then you learn from them what is their data look like, yeah, and what is their outcome data look like. For example, what is the input data look like? but I never done that, so I don't know, and I don't understand Japanese and Sundanese. So I think it's probably doable, but you have to well, yeah, you have to design that in a specific way where it's come out like in Indonesians. The input is in Japanese, but it's come out Indonesian because it's universal, can be read by the nurse from anywhere, you know. But it's very difficult. Uh, Not only, I think the difficult probably the data that you need, right? Because you need the data to feed in to train the model, right? Yeah. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think for this, there was watching this model, and this is why we idea for one project and to go to data science. Yeah, it's kind of really good pointed from category for one. Oh, I got this about semester. That is a really good question. And maybe the lecturer who is expertise in this kind of topic, they can provide this on the project. I think the question from here, who will level the ground truth if the medical comes from the area are very limited. Let's look at how to work of this one. I mean, people are listening. Well, because they are very technical. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, question number three is the practical aspect related to the politics of the health sector itself, and very easy actually possible, but that's why the politics of the practical related. Okay, the next question is how to privacy and security aspect of the health sector and life security also the program on privacy as would just not be how to that. So basically, basically is about GDPR, like about we know that there is complex have to protect the privacy of the patient, right? So how to protect that of things, where the data is kept, but you have the data in Indonesia, but you do the certificate. So you have to follow the PCP, right? Similar things we can help out in the
So you're saying that using data from Indonesia and to use say to do the research in the UK. Correct. What I know from we did is we built the model, yeah, and we collaborate with the stakeholder here, the data owners here, so they know what they can give us and what they won't give us. So they must follow the regulations, for example, specific data, individual data, you're not allowed to like having names, having identity numbers, something like that can identify people and things like that. So yeah, we have to follow the regulations here.
You have
You say anything? Yeah.
yeah. The last question is on the graphic, yeah. You know, the
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for the question, for having me in this question session. Good morning, ma'am. So all the honorable lecturers and my friends from data science. So, ma'am, in one of your slides about medical evolution, since around 2015, healthcare modeling has combining data science and learning. How Okay, I'm sorry. In one of your slides about medical evolution, since around 2015, healthcare modeling has combining data science and machine learning. However, the key challenge is placed on the interpretability and the trust from the people around. Like many people cannot put their trust on the data-driven modeling. So I have two questions in here. The first one is, based on your experience, how to face the skeptic people who won't trust in data-driven model in healthcare. Like even though we already applied explainability like SHAP or SHAP and other evaluation metrics, there are some people who don't understand and also don't trust in the data-driven result. That's the first question. Okay, so for the second question is, in your opinion, if the modeling really makes a wrong prediction and harm people, patients, who should actually be responsible for this case? Like maybe the responsible is from the developer or maybe the institute or anyone else? Thank you so much.
The first question first and the second later, this is again later, yeah, after the first question answer. Is that
All right.
okay?
Is it cool? Thank you.
Very good questions. How do you gain trust from your stakeholders if you work together with them? The first thing that from my experience is we need to engage with them often. So we have a scheduled meeting. So they know us, we know them, to gain trust first and then open communications. And the problems coming from them, not what we want to model, but what they want and they need to know. Yes. If our model can answer their questions, that's one of the things, because otherwise they will say, you built too complex model, it's not my system. But you need to be transparent with them in communications and then ask them to articulate their problem. So they are the problem owner, not us. We just helping them to build a model where they can use it. And then I like my last slide, when we communicating with people, we need to show them what is our model does. So what our model does. So my model is doing this, this, this. Are you agree with this structure? So we have back and forth communication from conceptual modeling phase until data requirement phase, all of them, we need to communicate with them so they understand what is the structure of model. They're happy. I did that with my mental health modeling. I talked to the presenting to the clinician, the nurse, mental health, and they give me input. They said, oh, we need another connection to community. I didn't know that time. So what happened to the system? They're happy with this, but there is another element that I don't know, but they know. So something like that. And then they see, okay, that's represent. That's first thing. If they see that your model represent their system, then you need to communicate it not using your language. Using technical language, they switch off. You need to speak plain language. Yeah. So use ordinary everyday language, not your language, LLM or machine learning. What's machine learning? People don't know machine learning, they don't care. Okay. So just say, I build a model to represent your system like this, this, this. So communication is the key. Communication is the key, and build the trust. And when you talk about your analysis, you need to give them explanation about the purpose. What do you do here that help them? You don't say, my model's doing this, this, the result, this. They don't care. It doesn't relate to them. So you need to talk plainly, saying, this is your question, this is my model does, and this is the answer. They may say, no, that's not like that. You predict my bed 700, but in daily, what we use only 650. they might don't want to trust you because, as I said, one number difference could be no, it's different, right? Yeah, but then you need to give explanation, yes, about the variability, stochasticity in the system. This is what happens, and the model's only as good as the data you inputted, right? If your data is not good, and what hope is the model can give a good data, a good result, things like that. So you need to talk to them. Yeah, and they need to understand the data they have and how the data is used in your model. Yeah, that they need to understand that. And then they will trust you. If you just build a model and then use their data, they don't know the process. Maybe some of them, they don't care. I just want the result. Fine. But for some reason, from some people, who aware of technicality, you need to talk to them, be open to them. Yeah. I think well, that's what, certainly I would do. And it's a very good question. I hope that answered your question. And the second one about what?
Could you please repeat the second question, please?
All right, thank you so much for answering my first question. Okay, for the second question of mine is, in your opinion, if the modeling really makes a wrong prediction, like biases, or maybe it's actually like really wrong prediction that could harm patients, who should actually be responsible for this case? Like maybe it's the responsibility of the institute, or maybe the developer, or maybe anyone else. Thank you.
What do you mean could harm the patient?
Uh, in some cases, the data-driven modeling could be wrong prediction or mislead the prediction, or could have some bias. And in that case, the bias and the wrong prediction could harm the patient health. And for this case, if the patient is harmed by the data-driven modeling result, who should take the responsibility? Maybe like the institute or the developer that built the model, or anyone else. Thank you.
Very good question. Yes, this touch the area of ethics.
Yes.
Which I think I'm not going to speculate because I'm not involved in that directions. But I think it's every institution, they have their own rule and regulation, right? Before even they perform any surgery, for example, they have to talk to the patient, right? That this is gonna be the procedure, this is gonna be the risk. Say I had not long ago a certain surgery, and they will tell me, I will give you this is gonna be done, but there is a risk that this thing's gonna happen again, or this is this, something like that. You have to talk to the I speak as a patient because I have the experience, So the clinician will talk to me, explain what the procedures, what the risk, and then if I understand, happy, I sign something, So then that's the risk I will accept. But I understand what probably I can understand what you think. Like for example, if a clinicians have like say image processing tool where you have a mammogram, a picture coming in, and then the prediction say 75% 80% there is a breast cancer. And that's a breast cancer, for example. But there is still uncertainty in there, right? Yeah. I don't know what is the procedure here, but the clinician should speak to the patient. There's a probability that this is 75%, cancer. I don't know. The best option is for you to remove it or to do this, It's up to this. But I don't know what the practice here. So yeah, I can understand the dilemma. If you only build a model, but suddenly the patient said, "Oh, I lost one of my breasts. I don't, you have to pay millions." So that's not fair, So there is a regulation in there, So it's not like and again, we just modeler. We build a model, we trained it using the data that we have, right? Yeah. So.
Okay, that's answered my question. So maybe the answer for both question is about communication is the key, right? The first one is we should communicate to the people so that people can trust our model. And the second one is we can conclude that before we decide to give the prediction to the patient should have regulation and also maybe some kesepakatan with us. Yes. Thank you so much.
If you are clinician, yeah. If you are modeler, what you do is you deal with the clinician who use the model, right? Yeah,
Yes.
you don't deal with patients. You have the stakeholder, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have the director of the hospital, the manager of the hospital, or the clinician who's going to use that tool that you build. You don't directly deal with patient. And I'm sure hospital will have regulation or whatever, like ethical. Yeah. Yeah, I hope that answer. But it's a very good question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you-
Have a good day.
Thank you very much. There's one, I want to. It's probably important how we work with the data, right? But how we interpret the data, what to tell, that I think for the market. So that's also the big question. I think you'll be a question for from the West, the market is. It will be last question for the people. Yes, please. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the opportunity, Mrs. Shariba and Mr. Huda. My question is quite simple, and probably Ilona already asked that and you already answered it perfectly, but I maybe wanted to put it in a little bit differently. So, of course, since doctors, especially that work in a hospital, they already have many years of experience in education and with their patients, right? So I think they already know many things that we data scientists don't know, especially some medical terms, right? I just wondering like how we can collaborate with them, because we don't really have that much of domain knowledge like they have, and what sort of qualification that we can offer ourselves as a data scientist to help them out. Okay.
Very good question. Yeah, it's very good. So the question is how we collaborate with them, right? There are many things. Yeah, many things that you could do in order to help clinicians. Yes, they have years of experience reading the mammogram. Yeah, but say when they do that, sometimes take times, right? Yeah, they have to look at very detailed. But as human being, we know we make mistake, right? Even the experienced people will make mistake. What we could collaborate with them is like, say, you can offer, I could help you building a tool, an app where you can help you reading this image quicker, something like that. But we still need them to look at it, because still the end they have to make the judgment, not the computer, right? The computer is only helping them to give like the probability, this develop this and this and this like that. Yeah. But the end goal is the clinicians. They are the one who actually knows. But what happened is we help them to do their job quicker. Yeah. And to make sense of all the images they gather, they collect, right? They have a bank of image, right? Of people like having a mammogram, for breast cancer, for example. They have loads of people's like being tests, USG and stuff, and then from there, a certain patient will develop, there is a cancer, but this image no cancer, this image have cancer, this image so all that hundred thousands of data, you can build something like machine learning model, right? Come up with, if you have a new image, what is the predictions going to be, and you can train them. The clinicians can welcome that. If you say this is not replacing them, yeah, that's a wrong language. Replacing with machine cannot replace human being, I would say. God knows, but I would say no. So there's a subjectivity and also, yeah. So we say this will help you read this quicker, but they still need to look at that, and something like that. So yeah, you can collaborate. That's one aspect. Another aspect is to make sense of the data they collect. Maybe it's not the surgeon who or the oncologist or the one that's make decisions about what type of cancer is this and that. Maybe the manager who want to make sense of why is my clinics always full? What can I do in order to help more people coming in and they be served quicker? Say so the time of these doctors will be used maximally, for example. That's something like that you can analyze. Yeah, so you collaborate with them in order to help them to do their job quicker. Yeah, so they will appreciate that. Yeah, if one clinician used to say read only say 10 a day, I don't know, maybe less, maybe more. But with your model, they can read more, but they still need judgment. They still need to judge about the result of that. So yeah, I would say it's more confidence. Don't say you are going to replace them.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's what we can allow. Then we will always study the day for the application as we for this area where the equation will be rewarded and how we may choose the best thing. If I'm already decided that the question that would be just one if all activity with the order of the question that presented and to be presented and also the certain idea of the question. And we already decided the three questions. The first would be Ilola. Hi, Ilola, you still here? Yeah. What was and that will be the two boys, the last be the classes. And the first question from you, yes. Yeah. This number is. Yes. And the company, yes, is present, your work in this. Please stand here and I'll take over the work you. Get this. Oh wow. If I know, I will not put it out. I invited from the head of the department now. Okay, could you send, okay, could you introduce your name and your performance ability? I think it will not 2024. So have 2024 or 2023, yeah. So it's 2023, 2024, and 2024.
The cohort. First of all, thank you for the interesting question. All of you ask a really, really interesting question. So don't get disheartened. Please keep asking questions, it doesn't mean that the lecturer know everything, but certainly with asking questions, we also learn from you, you learn from us. So that is a good collaboration in learning. Okay. So, and congratulations to you, be selected. Uh, is that favorite? Oh, okay. Can I ask myself a question? Oh, lovely. Okay, this one for you. Yeah, thank you for the questions. And this one for you. Okay. And this one for you.
Keep it up, and I hope to see you for the next semester. Happy this year. Okay, you can. Oh, okay, yes, of course.
That concludes our discussion today for the guest lecture and me as the moderator. Thank you very much for your active participation today and hope to see you for the more upcoming guest lectures with a different distinguished speaker. And I do appreciate your coming today and hope to see you again. So thank you very much for our distinguished speaker for giving a really nice, insightful and comprehensive presentation for today. So now I will return the session to the Master of Ceremony. That's all for me today. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much to our speaker for the insightful and valuable lectures. We will also like to express our sincere appreciation to our moderator, Dr. Horidatul Huda, for guiding the session so wonderfully. And of course, our gratitude goes to all participants for your enthusiasm and enjoying questions. We have now reached the end final part of today's session. And now we would like to express our sincere appreciation to our speaker, Dr. Syaribah Nurbais, for the insightful lecture delivered today. As a token of our appreciation, we would like to present a certificate of appreciation. The certificate will be presented by Ms. Yuliani Puji Astuti. May I kindly invite Ms. Yuliani Puji Astuti to present the certificate of appreciation. So maybe for the next documentation, maybe for our participant, we can stand up and take documentation with our best lecturer here. The documentation will be count in formal. What? 3, 2, 1. Satu langkah di depan. To all participants, please be seated. Let we close first. Okay. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's guest lectures. We would like to thank our speaker, our moderator, and all participants. We hope this session has provided meaningful insight and contributed to our academic journey. Finally, I hereby officially close this session. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.